All right, let me explain to you what's going on. Computer had crashed midstream doing the recording of this. So the audio's a little wonky because I had to kind of salvage it from some kind of like backdoor Bill Gates option. Audio's, just lean into it, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right. Is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Oh, the judge, dude. Gosh, I got some stuff, man. I'm gonna show you about this judge. This is the dude who's head honcho over the guilty by, what do you call? Well, okay, I'm gonna clarify a few things. I got some stuff to show you about Trump, and what it is 80% of the charges that Letitia was bringing upon on Trump was like out of the what do you call it, statute of limitations. And boy, I'm going to tell you what, the statute of limitations are going to be a very key factor thing when it comes to how they're trying to play out the Hunter Biden thing. So they better not mess with it and try to fool with the statute. That's one good thing about the Hunter Biden thing that's actually sort of like like say for instance, you got a north end and a south end of a magnet, and you put two north ends of it together and they repel each other. They need to equal but opposite force. And the one thing that they're trying to do with Hunter Biden is they want to run the clock out. They want us to try to do everything they can to have statute of limitations on a lot of these charges that have to do with tax fraud and other things that are alleged. And so, you know, the judge was like, ugh, statute of limitations are a lot of these right here, Miss Letitia. But she's like, but it don't matter. Letitia, it kind of matters right now. We've got a little situation at hand here. The timing of this isn't paying off very well. So, yes, they are actually going to acknowledge the statute of limitations on 80% of the stuff that they're claiming of whatever Trump said. Even though, he says it in a video, Trump's got balls of steel. If I got on camera, I'd be like, thank you, Judge, for that. I'm good and ready to go home. I wouldn't say nothing. But Trump starts to speak and then gets his attorney, says, who wants to talk for me? And one attorney goes, shit. Like, okay, because really in a normal situation, it shouldn't be any problem at all to state your case, state your fact, as long as you're within law and you're not violating any kind of non-disclosure agreement that has to do with witness tampering. And but at any given moment, they can say this, and the attorneys for Trump are like, just take this win and go. Let's go home. So I'll give it to Trump. He's got some gonads, dude. But check this out. So the judge had to rule on that. So I don't know what'll happen from here, but they're still running this thing with no jury at all in this case. They did Alex Jones the same way. And Alex Jones was right. It's a test case. He used him as a beta run to see how this would work out in a smaller court, to see if enough people would speak out against it, which a lot of us did, but not enough of the mainstream media to acknowledge the dual-tier justice system that's being placed at hand here. So let me roll. Oh, dude, got lots and lots of stuff that I want to cover right quick, and we're going to try to roll through it as quickly as possible because it's really, I found these articles like, oh my gosh, this is the golds. Let me get down here and we'll roll through some of this here. That's the judge we're looking at. That's the smirk that he gave whenever he was in the middle of a camera shot. He was doing his photo. He's in his rep era. That's what these young kids call it whenever they're doing stuff on TikTok and Instagram. I'm in my rep era, yo. And they have to bang a bunch of people so that they can, get a rep, I'm in my rep area. I'm like, whatever. So that's all weird. But, okay. Anyway, so he's in his rep area. Listen to the judge. This is his ideology when it comes to how he decides to operate under in his mind of how law works. Okay, this is quite interesting, and I was really surprised when I heard this because this is why they wanted this dude to be on this case. Okay,
now I'm going to say something controversial, even though I'm being taped. Juries get it wrong a lot. That's my own opinion. I do only civil trials. Personal injury cases, contract disputes, but I've had situations where, like, oh my heaven's sake, how could
he wasn't about to say, oh my God, because with his atheist beliefs, probably, maybe, I don't know for a fact. I don't know anything about this man. This is the first bit of things that I've got to see. I'm learning about a lot of this stuff, so I don't know who this dude is, but from what I can tell, they like to operate on the atheist level because it improves their ability to apply law. I guess whatever. Okay, here we go.
Could they have thought that? Well, I have a tool that I can deal with that. It's called judgment notwithstanding the verdict. I can say there is no possible way that a reasonable jury would have reached that conclusion. And, all right, am I following the law or am I making law? Okay, I'm following law. I'm an impartial referee, but it's hard to factor out my own emotions. And I have tools. Somebody can say, well, Your Honor, you have to throw out this case because it's just like another case. Well, is it just like another case? What if the defendant was wearing a red sweater instead of a blue sweater?
What?
Oh, and by the way, I worked for the Columbia Daily Spectator for a couple of weeks.
Propaganda network.
What happened was I went there every day and I wrote a few stories. One I got criticized on because I wrote that some Ku Klux Klanners had murdered some people, and I was told, you can't say that. How do we know? You weren't there. Well, that was what everybody thought. Anyway, yeah, we should have absolute immunity. What if we defamed...
What he had done, okay, that sounds insignificant, but there was, it's just one of those things where it's called defaming. He's going to go into this for a minute there, but you're defaming people. Even though it could very well had happened, it's supposed to be everybody's proven innocent, everybody's innocent till proven guilty, and especially when you operate under the facts of a judge. So like he wasn't a judge yet, but he was working in law and he was aspiring. So his ideology already was geared in a direction where he was an activist reporter. Now look, let's just clear the room. Am I an activist reporter? To a certain extent, yes. I think kind of it's hard not to be. And, it really is. That's the thing that you've got to deal with when you're dealing with media, is because everybody kind of gets into it psychiatrists get into what they do because they're crazy and they're trying to fix themselves. I got into this because some stuff is screwed up and I'm trying to fix it. So I have to report on stuff, and I do my best to show like the wind's on our side and people moving in the right direction on the other side, which means that I do have sort of a bias and ideology. So I'm giving you a little bit of a warning label, but hopefully I can be as fair as I can and understanding on both sides. And what's sustainable? I'll go in for what I think is a sustainable direction, and you can choose to follow if you would like. But anyhow, he is, in his law is hard. That's why you will never ever get a completely even justice system. I can assure you that. I don't care what you do or how you gear or engineer society. When you have a human, now this is how they're going to run AI. This would be the argument for artificial intelligence running a legal system, because it can't be biased because it doesn't have a soul. And that's the reason why a lot of judges probably operate on an atheistic level, because it makes them feel like they're not really applying anything in one direction or another. But human element, even AI, because it's programmed by humans, it's just going to be flawed. We just have to work in a situation where we're able to get people to understand and move in a direction that seems sustainable, and hopefully life can thrive. This is where we're at. We're just on a low point right now. Like if you look on an oscilloscope and you watch a sine wave on an alternating current signal, it has highs and lows, and somewhere in the middle is where we like to try to be, where it's zero voltage. But anyhow, I'll go back to this.
Somebody. That's how it usually comes up. You call somebody a murderer or a heroin addict, that sort of thing, a pedophile. If it's done in court, yeah, I think we should have absolute immunity.
Okay, so in other words, one thing he was doing it as a journalist, but then he wants to say it's okay to do in court as well. Does that give you at the very end, just this very last little segment right here? Let me see if I can get it. Let's try it one more time.
If it's done in court, yeah, I think we should have absolute immunity.
From the pictures, this does not look like this was too long. It's in 2015, okay? So this is in 2015. Not very far from now. And, the thing is he's a Trump hater. He's got there's a lot of information that brings out where he's like very biased against this one dude. And now I'm gonna start rolling through some other stuff. Well, okay, Trump as well. Just let me see if I can find it here. Just bear with me 1 second. Here we go. We'll finish this out, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Now we're going to move on to some stuff here that's really interesting. Trump attorney judge conceded that the statute of limitations are in effect. And let me show you this video. This video, man, I was like, I love Trump. I don't know what planet this dude's on, but if I was him, I would just be like, okay, yeah, everything's cool, y'all. I'm going to the limo. I'm headed out. Watch this dude there. And watch the attorney. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shoot.
Well, I think that was very good. That last 5 minutes was outstanding. because the judge essentially
He wasn't talking about hanging out with Melania neither, by the way. This was in court.
conceded that the statute of limitations that we won at the Court of Appeals is in effect. Therefore, about 80% of the case is over. I was going to come out and say that, as you know, we're not entitled to a jury, which is pretty unusual in the United States of America. So we think it's very unfair that I don't have a jury. But the judge's last statement was very fair. And if I read it right, I'll let perhaps one of the lawyers speak to it. But Cliff, maybe you'll speak to it.
Here it goes. Watch this.
The way I
The lawyer's like, no. You go out there. You go out there.
The statute of limitations is a very real thing in this country.
They're blink talking to each other right now.
80% of this case would be over. Could somebody speak to that, please? You want to talk about that?
Sure. So based on the judge's comments, at the end of the trial today, it would appear that he is agreeing that all the transactions that closed prior to 2014 are now out of the case.
He's saying nothing. Hey, you ready for some Geometry? Are you ready for the Geometry? I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'm gonna smallerize this. Darn. On the bottom left, right now, on the Fox News emblem, as this is being filmed, it is 3:33 Central Time. 3:33. I don't know if you can see this in the bottom left corner, because I may have it enlarged a little bit there. It might be a little bit huge, but if not, if you can't see this, I kid you not, on the Fox News thing that's down here on the bottom left that says 3:33. There's going to be people out there getting out their geometric calculator trying to figure this whole thing out. Let's see. We've got some. Oh, wait a minute. Look in the back. I'm going here. There is some, what do you call that? Tiffany blue. There's Tiffany blue on that dude's tie in the back. 300 on the door right there. And it's 4:33 p.m. live in New York time. 4:33s. 3 zeros divided by 0, -1. That's another 3. That's 333. And then we've got, wait a minute. Let's look at the tie. The lawyer's tie right there is black and white. That means arrest colors. They're going to be arrested. That means somebody's getting locked. Is that what we're doing here? Can we do that? Can we go and do some of that? There's a lot of people. I hope this video gets out now and people's like, oh crap, Will went on to the Geometry. Hey, check this out. Look, and there's also a dude wearing a corduroy green. That means he's old school. I don't know. I don't know a lot about that, but I do know that there is some weird ties when it comes to a lot of things. And but Trump is right though. He's not getting a jury trial. And that's some Geometry stuff right there. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's move on to some of this stuff here. I got Schwarzenegger told Americans to screw your freedom. Now he thinks he's still got a home in the GOP. Dude, so do you remember when he was governor, right? Do you remember he told everybody they need to get rid of their gas-powered vehicles because they're bad for the environment? Then 2 weeks later, he run over somebody with a big FU in the A3500 GMC Denali and ran over the car and parked on top of the car. Do you remember that? Does anybody remember that? And then ran over somebody again. He just kept running over people with big SUVs, burning like 50 gallons per second for gas. You know, it's an 8-liter V8 with not AFM automatic fuel management. But anyways, strangely Hollywood tough guy actor. And by the way, the article goes on to talk about the dude. And he's talking about screwing your freedom because everybody needed to get jabbed up and all that there and all. And when he became governor of California over a recall moment that happened, whenever he was supposedly elected. Now, he may have been illegitimately elected because of his fame fair and his big testosterone movies of him and Terminator and stuff like that. So Republicans were like, yeah, this dude's got some big D energy, but it's probably not because of the steroids, possibly, maybe. But anyways, it could be little marbles. But the dude completely voted all lefty stuff, and he really flipped California all around to a lefty ideology as a Republican GOP, which tells me that he was a big rhino. I watched all this happen. I seen him on TV too. I seen him on TV when they used to do this show called Pimp My Ride, and he made an appearance on there. And dude, this is strange, but I am going to show you, or I'm going to explain to you, the actual boomerang effect of what is happening right here as I explain to you what Bill Clinton says and actually agrees with the Donald Trump's immigration policies just to get a talking point to try to get somebody's attention. Bill Clinton breaks with the Democrat Party and says, former President Bill Clinton says, I want to run through this so fast because it's so aggravating, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain this is really real. He says, after reversing the border policies of Donald Trump, which means, wow, you mean you actually said the dude's name and you said that he reversed his policies, and acknowledging the fumbles of Biden means that you're ready to throw dude man to the curb completely. Biden is completely thrown to the curb. They're only going to protect his son to protect the Democrat name. The rest of it's going to go downhill the rest of the way. They're going to put Michelle Obama in to run as president. That's how they're going to be able to try to look like it's a legitimate 81 million votes again because of this, that, and the other. This is what we're looking at. But hold on. Let me get here. So he says, Clinton says it's time to end asylum and sanctuary city laws that Democrats have been supporting. Now, he also talks about developing areas that haven't been developed before, like right to shelter law. Clinton argues should be modified. It is broken. We need to fix it. Clinton said adding the law doesn't make any sense. Adding that the law doesn't make any sense. And as an asylum city, New York City is required to shelter for illegal immigrants. Just bear with me for a second. For homeless for 40 years, with thousands of illegals in the city are being fed, sheltered, and they're vaccinated too. By the way, speaking of that, wait a minute. They're vaccinating all the illegals. Ohio homecoming queen contender Breanne McKean, 17, collapses and dies on football field during pregame ceremony. 17-year-old chick just died. Boom, flam. Sudden death syndrome there. But anyhow, okay, we'll talk about that. Dude, so he said that it causes significant debt on the taxpayers. They came here and we're supposed to shelter them, people who can't get work permits for 6 months. We need to change that, Clinton said. Listen to how this starts making a left turn, guys, and it gets real strange, and I'm going to explain to you what they're going to do. They ought to work, Clinton continued. They need to begin working, Clinton said, paying taxes and paying their way. Most of these people have no interest in being on welfare. Well, maybe not, but they also want a tax base that's cheap labor, and they also want a vote for the Democrat Party. This is where we're going with this. Now, watch how they're going to implement the 15-minute cities. Yes, I said that. They give these illegals all these cell phones so they can supposedly track them and whatnot and everything. Now, if we're going to do what's about to be said right here, we should build more housing just over the Rio Grande and Mexico. I think we should support that, he says. People there and keep people there and let them in as quickly as possible if they are going places, going somewhere where we know they can get a job and they will be welcome. Clinton also noted that the chaos around the migrant crisis is very beneficial for the Republicans. Okay. It is because it's proven a narrative that the illegal immigration is bad. Now, what am I meaning by 15-minute cities? Now, you take all these people right here that aren't legal citizens of the United States, but yet they want them to work, and they have to so-called keep them under monitored situations. Now, they'll make these places nice. They'll have amenities, so it'll be great for these people to go to, and they'll run a beta test on these 15-minute cities when it uses facial recognition, social credit score, and chips under the finger just so they can keep up with them. No joke. Watch and see if that's out. Now, what happens when they get this all straightened out and they get it fortified and get it completely working in an efficient manner? What do they do with these 15-minute cities after that? They see how well it works. Well, they will actually start to expand these 15-minute cities, which they have been building already. They've been building COVID camps for a long time in the United States, and they've been trying to figure out ways to put people in them. This is a real thing. But what they're going to do is, since they've got all these quote-unquote so-it-to-be COVID camps, this could be migrant sanctuary cities cut out, and they'll operate them under a artificial intelligence apparatus, just like I said earlier, and like I say, completely hammer out all the problems and then expand that nationwide, or attempt to. After they fire off a bunch of Jewish space lasers and burn everybody out of their house and move them closer into the center of the United States so they can't flee on ships and get away from there. That's the whole plan. Secure the borders on the outside edges of the United States all the way down through Mexico and just keep everybody in. Nobody leaves. No joke. It's like, in other words, as you see countries like Russia and all these people going more conservative and seeing where tyranny's bad and all that, and we're going to be like, hey, can we get over there? And they're going to be like, no, you cannot. I swear to you, watch and see. Because they do that in North Korea. If you're born there, you can't leave there. You're part of that. You are rooted to that area. But this Ohio teen, she just collapses and dies. We don't know why, but we do understand a lot of this is really ramped up since they've started really rolling out a bunch of these the jabs, the sauce, whatnot, and all that there and all. And we've got another really interesting development that's happening. This is kind of breaking as of what, today? Well, yeah, today. It came out today. Pentagon official. I saw this on Twitter and thought it was a meme, but the Department of Defense deputy chief arrested for running dogfighting ring in a D.C. area. This has been going on for almost 20 years, and that means they've been knowing about it, but didn't allow it to go on because they needed to keep that dude in because they knew that they could use him for stuff because he was a puppet, but all of a sudden he broke from their narrative, and now they're going to talk about it and get him all in trouble because he didn't want to do what they wanted to do because he thought he'd be protected by just falling in and going in line with the Democrat, socialist, communist system. But then what happened is he said, man, I can't do that. That's really, really bad. This is my line in the sand. They're like, well, that's your line in the sand. Then we're going to go ahead and expose you for what you've been doing. Even though we've been taking part of it, you're going to be the fall guy for it. So, bam, lamma, ding, dog, I've been telling you guys forever, if you go with this narrative and think for 1 second you're going to be protected for any long period of time, yes, it's just temporary because you're a tool. And this guy was a tool, and that's what happened to him. Frederick Douglass Moorfield, Jr., a Deputy Chief Information Officer from the Command, Control, and Communications at the Office of U.S. Secretary, and was arrested and charged with running a dogfighting ring for more than 20 years, according to DOJ's press release. And Moorfield, 62, this dude here was arrested, and he was alongside Mario Damon Flythe, a 49-year-old dude, Glenn Burney, Maryland. Both men faced federal charges in promoting a further of an animal fighting venture. And I wonder if how many football players are tied up in this as well. And so, anyhow, but this is a dude that's been working for the Department of Defense for years. And they know about this. They knew about this. They know all about this because they keep tabs on these people. This is not like they were like, oh, we didn't know this was going on until about a week ago. Like I said, dude, he was just a tool until he wouldn't go as far as they wanted him to go, and then that's when they took it out on him. And that's what's going to happen to all those people that run with that system of tyranny because they're just going to use you to get ahead. By the way, this guy right here, Texas Democrat Henry Cuellar, yeah, carjacked at gunpoint by 3 black males outside his apartment in Washington, D.C. Now, okay, check this out. This is a Texas Democrat representative, Democrat Republican. Same thing. Did I mess that up or did I make that up for real? You be the judge. But dude, man, has got an apartment probably right beside Lindsey Graham's, and they just kind of like go back and forth with togas on and see what happens. Outside of the apartment. Now, this guy advocates for all this illegal immigration and all that. Didn't I just do an article yesterday about, in Michigan, transnationalist gangs coming out of Nigeria and South America are organized in facts where they use they rob high-end people. They don't go for little, like, they're not robbing nobody in the hood for a dime bag. These people are coming in there and taking like Bugattis and stuff. I told you this, right? Well, this dude right here just got carjacked by 3 black males they haven't said from where, but let's just read into this a little bit. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. But if they didn't, we'll just see 3 black men. Now, that just because they're black doesn't mean that's the reason why they did it. This is just because they were bad people. White people do the same thing, just to clear the air. Not trying to be biased in one bit whatsoever. I've seen just as many shitty people on one end as I have to the other. So everybody, it's all a thing. It's all a pool we all swim in, and we just try our best to not get drowned. These men approached Representative Cuellar while armed and demanded his car. The attacker succeeded to get away in his white Honda CHR. That's the best you could do, is a Honda CHR? Man, somebody has like zero testosterone. He probably, back in the day when they made that Buick with the felt top in like 2000, that Buick Regal with the felt top, he probably bought one of those too. He's like, let me get that felt top Buick. I need that in my life. And dude, okay, all right, so lefty journalist who mocks conservatives, who warned about violence in America, who was warned about this violence in America before intruder shot him dead. Now, they say this is an intruder. In the article, they said this was an intruder. But this dude right here, 39-year-old Josh Kruger, was shot in the chest and abdomen 7 times and was pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after 2 a.m. Kruger was murdered 2 weeks after he was threatened by a person who calls themselves Lady Diablo, the she-devils of the streets. Okay, in August, someone threw a rock through his home window, he said. Then about 2 weeks ago, he wrote on Facebook that someone came into his house searching for their boyfriend, and man, I've never met once in my entire life. This person called themselves Lady Diablo, the she-devil of the streets, and threatened him, and he wrote, according to the Philadelphia stuff, but the suspect's still at large, and no sign of forced entry. The motive for the murder is unclear. Kruger wrote for the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Philadelphia Citizens. Sounds like somebody met the wrong chick at the methadone clinic. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know much about stuff, and I've been around a little bit, but, there are, And it was probably drug related because the dude looks like he practices a lot of the lefty ideologies of just more than smoking the weeds. Looks like he probably really gets down with some of the other bigger stuff, and probably has to go to a Suboxone clinic because he's trying to recover from all the fentanyl that he was taking in while he was doing research. They call it research, guys. I was just doing research. I lived on the street for a few months and I was like kind of strung out, but it was research. Research. And I met this chick, man, you know what I'm saying? And everything and all. But she has a boyfriend and, he's gay and I'm gay. We're going to be, this is weird. They do weird stuff, man. They do some weird. So when it comes to like love triangle stuff that goes wrong, it's really imperative that they don't do this because it's really hard for police to figure out what happened because it's just so effed up. Report Democrats fear the Bidenomics is backfiring. You don't say. And here we got a German leftist freak out and call for censorship after Elon Musk points out 8 German NGO ships are dumping illegal aliens into Italy, and Germany's conservative AfD party wants it to stop. Yes, there's a reason why you see boats pulling up to shores with a bunch of illegals on them. They didn't float that boat all the way across the ocean because that thing wouldn't make it. There's bigger ships out there that are rounding up all these people, going out into international waters just on the edge of where it breaks. Because all you got to do is go like 10 or, I don't know, it's not very far that you go offshore and you're in international waters where there are no laws and no regulations. And that's where all the black clothing goes on, by the way. There's no telling what kind of, they're probably making these people. Wouldn't that be something else if these people were being made? It's like, okay, you ready for some more illegals? Like an ice tray. They hit a button, he's like, and they all come out, float down the little things and slide down the little rafty boats and like out to the water they go. And the reason why they don't have an ID is because they were just made like not long. They were made and grown. They've been growing these people for like 18 years to get them up and genetically modified them so that they'd be complete and total street warriors and rob people in DC for their car, allegedly. What do you think? Is that too far? Did I go there? From Geometria to that? What do you think, guys? Is that too much? By the way, whenever you live in the United Kingdom, there is a huge takeover of illegals down there as well. Okay, this was totally a lightning strike that caused it. It says a lightning strike caused an explosion at a food waste recycling plant in Oxford. Okay, the company said lightning strike caused one of its biogas tanks to explode. It was lightning, totally lightning. Look at this.
That's massive.
It's huge. Yep. So we see like explosions taking place and infrastructure getting damaged all around the United States. Derailments, all kind of, just strange, odd things happening. And we keep saying that it was, they keep saying, it's those white supremacist, domestic terrorist Trump supporters. And, I don't know about that. I think the intel might be a little botched. With that being said, guys, I'm going to run out of here. We got a lot to do today, and we're going to try to get as much done as possible. As always, I really appreciate everybody for hanging out. And I'll leave us out with the judge doing this judge is like, I'm so pimp. I've got this guy right here in front of me, Mr. Donald Trump, and I'm going to show everybody how happy I am to be there. So here's that beautiful $1 million smirk with that beautiful. Once I'm gonna make fun of somebody's grill again. Get ready, even though I know I need a little, I could go, everybody. But here, I'm not a. I guess I am a public figure now that I do this stuff. But it doesn't matter. Whatever. Here's this dude with the creepy. I like to sniff kids allegedly smile.
You've got Trump in the foreground, and it fulfills the narrative.
Yeah.
Trump is likely.
Way to go, dude. Way to go. Let's go for one more time. Let's look at that. Make him famous.
Trump in the foreground, and it fulfills the narrative on both sides.
So there you go. That's it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Big hugs. Thank you for all the new subs. Thank you for the support. Thank you all the wonderful people out there. Thank God for what he's done too, because he's gave us a wonderful way to figure this out. I'm out.
Got my red dress on tonight, dancing in the dark in the pale moonlight. Summer Herald real big beauty queen style, high heels off, I'm feeling alive. Oh my God, I feel it in the air, telephone wires above. Oh, sizzling like a snare on the arm. I'm sad, I feel it everywhere. Nothing scares me anymore. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know that, baby, you the dust. I got that summertime sadness. Summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh, oh, oh.